Leaders of that time invested in us. They invested in us. That's why we.
You enjoyed scholarship for school?
Everything. It's not only scholarship. For them to invest in hospitals, in schools, in other infrastructure. You have security at that time. You could drive from one end of Nigeria to the other, regardless of who you are. Now, because of poverty brought about by corruption and bad governance, these two things, you can go around in circles, keep talking all the big grammar. It is corruption, bad governance that brings all of this. Leaders of our time, each day we pray, we raise our hands and pray for our parents and pray for our leaders of that time. Because they were just enough, they invested in us, we went to school, the son of the poor and the son of the king and the son of the general, we all lined up, collected scholarship, there was no difference. But now, this is where we are.
Society has been fragmented. Why do you think people find it easy to prescribe solutions while they are outside power? I'm still referring to the our last. You can see fantastic solutions there. Yeah. Why is it difficult for them to implement while in power?
Yeah, just bring them back and ask them. I don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about other people. To be honest, bring them and ask them. They were in government. What did they do?
Yeah. And Tinubu has announced measures to address food insecurity. You think they will get it right? Because they said that there will be some rollout measures to distribute food and all that. Is it sustainable? You think?
Hamza, you keep dragging me into this politics.
Because, Prof, I really want you to. You speak for the poor, and I really want you to say something.
To be honest, I'm not really interested in all this.
You think the food security thing will be like the 8,000 palliative, maybe?
I'm not interested in all this stuff. Let's be real. I'm old enough to tease out the real from fiction. Our people are suffering, and we have been saying this from the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Our people are suffering, and suffering is added onto them. And you're coming to tell us, 8,000, you're not talking to the people.
We tend to do our things in a different way. You travel. I also travel widely, and I have seen this issue of our food security somewhere. But it's like ours is half-baked sometimes when they announce that, okay, we'll share maize or guinea corn and things like that. And before you know it, you won't even know whether it was shared or not. I hope we get it right.
Right.
Now, back to your article. You said banditry, lessons learned, and way forward. It's been quite a while when you actually wrote an article. We always publish your articles, but it's been long when you wrote the last one, I remember. But this one, we published it on July 11. What informed the decision? Starting from the title, Lessons Learned and Way Forward. Yeah,
it's very simple. I've been watching TV and I see pundits from studios in Lagos or wherever talking about banditry. And I shake my head. We are going to tell our own story.
Okay.
You don't hear me talk about.
But are you a bandit? You say you are going to tell your story.
Because I live in the Northwest.
Pardon?
Northwest.
Okay.
We've seen the ravages of bandits.
Yes.
It's affecting our people. It's affected our people. I've said it time and time again before President Muhammad Buhari came. Katsina, we've never had IDPs. A third of my state is under siege by bandits. We see a lot of IDPs. You never hear me talk about Boko Haram because I don't know, I'm not qualified. There are people a lot more qualified, a lot more eloquent to talk about them.
I covered them.
Or IPOP, ESN, or South, or politics is local. I live here and I've invested time over the last several years to understand them. I and Sheikh Gumi, we've risked our lives. We went into 8 forests in this country where no soldier or politician has been, just to understand. So I am talking from a vantage point of knowledge, the knowledge I know. So I giggle when I see people that I call interlopers, people that know nothing about our problems, talking about our problems. So the purpose of writing this is to educate and tell them our experience. And tell people, if you do not know, ask those that know.
Yeah, we actually couldn't accommodate everything in the paper, but we move it to the online, which has, you know, a large following. But before we go deep into it, you mentioned that, yeah, you've seen pundits saying ABC about the banditry. What is your thoughts on some former northern governors who offered solution recently? I'm making reference to former Zapara governor, Yerima Bakura, former governor of Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduje, and former governor of Bauchi State, Isa Yuguda. They said they brought almost 17 different Fulani groups, and they understood where the problem lies. Do you think these people are in the right position to talk about the problem of the Northwest? I mean, of course, Yuguda is from the Northeast, but maybe the Fulbe relationship, that's what maybe brought them together. Or you think there is a different motivation? Right.
I mean, if I'm the president, I will listen to everybody.
Okay.
As opposed to what President Buhari was only listening to the military. He refused to widen his scope of consultation.
Okay, Buhari.
Absolutely. And I've said it time and time again.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't want to continue talking about President Buhari. It's a nightmare that is gone. The president will listen to everybody.
Yeah.
You're a former governor, come and talk to me, I'll listen. Especially that President Tinubu knows nothing about banditry. Neither
you think he don't know much?
He's from there, he's from the Southwest. I mean, humility is something. He's from the Southwest, he doesn't know problems in the Northwest.
Yes.
The Vice President from the Northeast doesn't know. But that doesn't mean they cannot assemble people that will educate them.
But are these people the right people to start talking on this?
So anybody can talk. But I've said in that write-up, I talked about governors and their role in the security situation we're in the North.
But these are former governors.
Right. So you ask, yeah, they're former governors. So you ask yourself, where have they been all these 8 years? Finally,
especially, anyway, Yerima and Yuguda, they've been out of power for some time.
Good. Even if they're in power, where have these governors been over the last 8 years? All of a sudden, they found their voices. Good, they found their voices. But I've said it again and again. All northern governors must bear full responsibility for the state of security in the North. They carried the pregnancy and gave birth to this monster we call banditry. Many reasons. In the North, we have the unenviable record of the most people in the number of people that have a lot more people in multidimensional poverty in the North.
Yeah.
Our kids do not do well in JAM, NACO, and WAEC. Our schools are in a mess. Our hospitals are in a mess. Poverty, drug abuse, unemployment. We see them all over. And I said there is not going to be peace in any society with this much inequity. And what is their responses to insecurity? Well, they call themselves the chief security officers of the state. What have they done?